Well, it's been 8.5 years since I've been serving you as your minister, or formally your contract minister. Did I say years? Oh my goodness. It feels like actually less than 8.5 months. Well, the model of contracting a minister before extending a call to become a settled or long-term minister has become much more prevalent in Unitarian Universalism. It allows congregations to get a sense whether a minister is a good fit for them. And congregational leaders are encouraged not even to discuss whether to extend a call for at least a year. And while it's the congregation's prerogative to be able to vote if the call is allowed, it's the board that gets to decide whether to hold such a vote. But what most people don't realize is that this new model of developing a relationship between a minister and a congregation is that it's really helpful for the minister as well. I get to give you a test run. And it has not been a sprint. It's been much more a dance. Because congregations all have a unique rhythm. And all of us as human beings have a unique rhythm. And every minister has its own rhythm. And the question is, how will we move together? Well, I want to share with you today, since it's our annual meeting day, some of what I've discovered about you since I arrived. And let me begin by saying this. You are a gem of a congregation. Not only are you a well-kept secret from much of the wider community, you're a well-kept secret from many Unitarian Universalist congregations. You know, only those of us ministers who were connected to the 4 ministers that have served over the last decade are we aware that you have come through significant transition and at times a fair amount of turmoil. And as a nearby minister, I was privy to the drama that has played out here. Now, I have over 25 years of experience of dealing with drama in religious communities. So don't worry. It's really hard to surprise me. But here I have been surprised, not by drama, but by how much you all love being together. It is so refreshing, the joy that is here among you. And what is even more surprising is how the institutional needs of this congregation are attended to by volunteers behind the scenes. They're not relegated to staff. I mean, this is a model that all congregations, so many congregations strive to fulfill and realize, but it very rarely works. Because volunteers are volunteers. They're not going to have the time often, or it's very easy to take on more than what one can really honestly do. There's lots of good intentions. And oh my gosh, in congregations, conflict is a norm. Here, I think there's creative engagement with disagreement so that there's creative conflict. That's what I have seen. Perhaps we're just on a honeymoon together these first 8.5 months. But what this means When there are volunteers doing all of this, it means the minister gets to focus on the ministry, the spiritual needs of the congregation. And before I unpack this further, I need to comment on what we've just heard today from Jenny and Andy. When I first learned that they were planning on rejoining the Peace Corps, I thought, wow, here are two people so involved in this congregation. And I don't know how many of you are aware, but Jenny's third generation, and her kids are fourth generation in this congregation. This congregation has shaped who they are. And the fact that they are so incredibly involved over their 40 years of involvement here. Is that what you said? 40 years you've been here. Oh my gosh. I mean, you don't look it at all. And the fact that you're so involved clearly means this is a place that's supported you. And I imagine that the community here has helped you in your own discernment, how you want to live your one wild and precious life. And that's a really special thing. And behind the scenes, Andy and Jenny do a lot. I mean, Jenny's probably served in just about every volunteer role. And I know a lot of you know how Andy is this extraordinary musician. He's also a graphic designer who donates a lot of his time and talent to our marketing materials. In fact, there's this vibrant marketing team here, which most of you probably aren't even aware of. It's headed by Dave Moore, and all these extraordinary professionals are on it, having fun figuring out how to do marketing. I mean, just this last week, Dave told me about an idea that Andy has for a campaign. You know, imagine on Facebook, all of a sudden it comes up. An atheist, a Christian, and a Buddhist walk into a church. It's not a joke. It happens here all the time at the Unitarian Universalist Society of Geneva. My son might say, bada boom. Now, many churches have an Unsung Hero Award to recognize individuals who make volunteer contributions over years or decades. And both Andy and Jenny would be great candidates for such an award, and there would be dozens and dozens of others who would be great candidates as well. And this is all a part of the big surprise that I have found here. All sorts of people take care of the institutional needs of this congregation, such that ministry, innovative, exciting ministry, is possible. I mean, I've never seen a congregation with such a marketing team and making such pledge drive materials, let alone the brochures. Makes it look like this is a 1,500 or 3,000 member church. I mean, I've never seen a congregation have volunteers apply for FEMA grants and then do all the behind the scenes paperwork and project management and meeting with all the folks to complete the work and get reimbursed. Thank you, Kevin O'Neill. I've never seen a finance chair behind the scenes really reflecting on things and sending me attendance records every week and really so engaged that I have so much trust. Thank you, Tom Haslett. And I've never been in a congregation that had such non-drama around the pledge drive because of a fabulous team. Thank you, Kathy McFadden. You know, I could just keep on going. Thank you, Sherry Wilson. Thank you, Kathy Becker, hospitality. Oh, Sherry is social justice. How many things? I mean, how did you turn out 100 people to the AT&T protest? How do you have a community lunch every month, and an extraordinary spread often other times. How do you manage to attend to folks really in need and make sure no one falls through the cracks, as the WOW team does? Thank you, Glinda and Carol, who a lot of people aren't even aware are sisters. How is it? In most churches, either the minister or the professional staff attend to many of these functions. And sometimes some of you who know my background say, or ask me, why do you want to serve here in a church that's significantly smaller than the ones you've served? I don't have to do all the stuff I don't want to do. And I get to do real ministry. What are the functions of ministry? There's 6 P's. There's preaching, the most obvious one. There's pastoring, and I've visited a dozen of you in your homes and nearly a dozen of you in either a hospital or a senior care center. And preaching and pastoring, that's what everybody thinks of, right? And some people might say, oh, is one of them proselytizing? No. But there is the prophetic ministry and challenging us all to live according to our values, to recognize the dictates of conscience. And then there's public ministry, cultivating with leaders in the wider community so that we have networked with other folks. And then there's personnel. I am the chief of staff. And I need to make sure we have a supportive work environment. And lastly, there's the promotion of community through leadership development. I couldn't find another P word for that. But there's someone here that promotes leadership development so beautifully. For 10 years, Christine Imielski has been engaging with the volunteers behind the scenes, supporting, empowering, strategizing, planning, sometimes helping through very, when things don't go well. And let's face it, I'm the 5th minister she's worked with. She's walked with you all through a lot. And I just wanted to acknowledge her, since just a week and a half ago, she marked 10 years of service here. And so what is the ministry? I see there's 4 pillars of ministry. The biggest one is the spiritual needs of our congregation. Opportunities to gather and support one another. Opportunities to listen one another into deeper wisdom, which I have a plan for the fall. Opportunities to learn and understand so we can navigate our lives. And then there's the faith development of our children. That's the second pillar. Really, the faith development of us all, but we want to make sure this is a real welcoming place and supports that we're providing an ethical framework from which our kids can develop their morals. And the third pillar is responding to what breaks our hearts in the wider world and what weighs on our conscience in the wider community. And then fourth, there's the institutional maintenance and development, which you all have got covered. I named this service Our Community Journey. Let me just confirm that that's what I named it. Our community journey, opening to beauty and brokenness. That's what we do. We support one another so that we can be real with all the blessings and gifts that we have in our lives. And we can be real about what's not right in our midst, and that there are people hurting in our wider community. And that we can be a source, we can find healing for our own selves and be a source of healing for others. It's a ministry that we do together. May it be a dance. Blessed be. Amen.
Visit us at uusg.org.